What's up, folks? We're on location at K-Days Edmonton with some very, very special guests. If you guys could just introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Zach.
I'm Dwight.
And I'm Cody.
And you're from the Zolas. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so very much for joining us. Can you guys tell me about the first song you guys ever learned how to play?
Yeah.
Of course, they're all
individually.
separate. Yeah, individually. Yeah. We'll go down the line.
No, I think it would probably be like Enter Sandman on the drums or something.
That's a good beginner.
That's good.
I think so.
Mine is Wonderwall by Oasis.
Nice.
All my brothers, they played guitar, so they needed a bass player.
Right.
And I would only come in with the open E string, so they'd be playing and like, oh, here's my chance.
Your big moment to shine.
And I remember getting like yelled at, like, you missed it. Like you have, you have one job, one note, one
That's
job.
hilarious. And you kind of got the Oasis glasses today too. I think that's pretty stylish, man. I like it.
Thanks, man.
Personally.
Thanks.
I think of it more of a space hog glasses, but that's yeah, it's very.
I'm missing that reference, but maybe I'm too young. I don't know.
You know that song? Maybe in the meantime.
Probably if
No,
I heard it.
yeah, it's a one-hit wonder kind of song. Mine, I think. This is gonna sound fake because it's more advanced than a first song should be, but I worked so hard at this song when I first learned how to play guitar, and it was "Crying" by Aerosmith.
Oh, man. Taking them back.
Yeah, it was a melter in every way. Yeah, love
Steven
that.
Tyler
Love the
fan?
Smith. Oh yeah, huge Steven Tyler fan. Huge.
Joe Perry, you know.
Yeah, and
Oh, I don't know.
Man,
No,
I
we don't
have to
know
do any
anyone
work
else.
over here. You got the microphones down. You guys are just stealing the show over here.
Kramer is another guy. The drummer's last name is Kramer. That's great. Didn't you used to know like who sponsored him and all that? Yeah.
In my head that I forgot how to tie my shoes after I squeezed that in there, but I knew it at one point.
It canceled it out. You had to.
You gain things, then you kind of have to forget others.
That's right. Dunbar's number. That's definitely true. Zach, what made you fall in love with New York?
Well, I mean, I like New York like everyone else does, but I never fell in love with New York. Let's be honest.
Okay.
The song was written about there's a couple people that I met the first time that I ever went to New York was to mix the album Ancient Mars with Tom and the guy that was producing that album and mixing it, whose name is Caleb Shreve, and we were there, and I'd never been to New York, and we met one guy who had just moved to New York, and he was this kid from Little Rock, Arkansas, and he was sort of like every minority you could possibly imagine. Like he was adopted, he was born in South Korea and adopted as an infant to a Orthodox Jewish family in Little Rock, Arkansas. So he's he's an Asian Orthodox Jewish Southerner, and he was gay too. So he was like every minority, and he had like the song is partially inspired by him because he'd never been somewhere where like he wasn't an absolute outlier. You know, he'd lived in Little Rock his whole life where there weren't that many people like him. And then the other person was, the actual term I fell in love with New York was a Carly Rae Jepsen quote, because she's from Vancouver, and so we all know her sometimes. And when she's in town, and I met up with her in New York, and she had decided she wanted to move there, and that was what she said. That was it. Yeah. So I'm not like, I love New York just like everyone does. Did you fall in love with New York, Dwight?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did fall in love with this one little neighborhood in New York that no one talks about. Remember?
What's it called? Sunset Park.
Sunset Park, I
Good
think.
vibe.
It was a really good vibe.
Where we played skee ball. Is that where we?
No, we played
That was
skee ball in
Brooklyn,
in
Red Hook or
Williamsburg.
something like that.
Oh, okay.
But no, the Sunset Park was like, it was like a Mexican / Polish neighborhood or something. I don't remember. It was awesome.
I remember. Just mom and pop shops everywhere. It wasn't like taken over by big businesses and stuff like that, which is like,
Or people like us. Like
or people like us. Yeah,
It wasn't full
Just
of
like almost
hip-
like trippy to see now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard very good things about Sunset Park.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that anyone had heard about that.
It sounds very familiar for some reason. And I've had the pleasure of having Carly Rae Jepsen on this show. She's very cool. She seems fun to work with because she seems very driven and focused about her music. Have you found that?
Yeah. I mean, she's got a lot to prove, right? She kind of hit a grand slam with "Call Me Maybe," and ever since then she's sort of wanted to prove that she's still got the big bat.
Individually, who would you guys deem your #1 musical influence?
Well, it's hard to pin down, I guess. It's like such like a amalgamation of like you take pieces of things you love and throw them in something like
But
I'm just going to talk about drummers, I guess.
You have to go early, right? Because
I guess
that's really where you're formed is early.
Like the first band that kind of blew me away, I guess. It'd probably like Zeppelin, of course. You guys heard it? You heard of them? Zeppelin? Little band, England.
Lead Zeppelin?
Yeah, Lead Zeppelin.
LED Zeppelin?
Yeah, LED Zeppelin. Like smoking weed and like sitting in my room with like a black light on with headphones and listening to like Black Dog and just being like, I get it now. Like, I am one.
Mine's a little more obscure than that. They're called the Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah. They. I just remember being like 12 and just like obsessing over them at a really young age. So yeah.
Man, I don't know. Like, I think it probably would have been like it's probably Nirvana. I guess, just like melodically. It's so funny how, because when you're a kid, you listen to whatever your like older brother gives you, or or whatever your parents happen to have around the house. It's less like that now because everyone has access to whatever music they want. But when we were kids, like music was a finite resource. So you kind of just made do. Like I remember getting super into. My dad had an album by. He had like a Lyle Lovett album that I listened to a lot. He's like.
Good hair.
Great hair.
Really good hair.
And like Suzanne Vega, just whatever my dad listened to, I listened to. I think he put me onto the Counting Crows, and I listened to that for a long time.
Coming here soon too.
Oh, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, yeah. No, the Counting Crows. I stand by the statement that the album August and everything after is like the best, kind of like indie American kind of Americana album of the 90s, but after that it got so bad.
That's Counting Crows?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't know too many crows. So.
Yeah, see, these guys are actually cool in high school, so they didn't listen to Counting Crows or anything. They listened to like music that still holds up. Yeah. I have got nothing like that.
What kind of triggers do you guys have where something will happen, or maybe you'll see or hear something and you say, okay, I want to go create music right now?
Like for inspiration?
Yeah.
I think it changes all the time, like your mood or substance or hearing. Yeah, well, I think probably most of the time it's when you hear like a cool song or beat or something like that and you're just kind of like,
rip that off.
I want to do something like that. Or
yeah, like when you listen to I Wish by Skilo.
When you hear like I Wish by Skilo and you just realize that it's like this, like that's a good example because it's like, that's like this one hit wonder and you think of it as like a jokey tune, but it's actually really like, if you really listen to like the samples going on and like the way it's like structured and shit, it's like,
and just the beat on its own.
The beat itself, like tempos are really important. That really gets me off.
So good.
So yeah, it's so like, it's probably hearing other music mostly. Yeah.
Like I'll just be like working like at work and then like something will come into my head and I'll like run to the bathroom and just be like on my phone like singing so I like remember it, but it's pretty spontaneous, you know.
For me, it's when I mishear other music, like when I'm too far away from, or like I'm in another room and there's music in the background that I'm not really hearing properly, and then so maybe like I think that the beat starts on the 2 instead of the 1, and I think, oh, what an interesting beat, or like what an amazing bass line, like, and then you
it's a song you've heard like 100 times.
Or it's just a really generic song, but you listen to it by accident, like a child or something, and suddenly you have this idea that like, well, why not? Why can't we just make it that weird?
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Well, thank you for the insight into the creative process. That's super cool for sure. Who's the real ladies' man of the Zolas?
Probably DJ. Yeah, I would say it's DJ. Yeah.
Who do you think, Cody?
I would say you.
I think it's you.
What's your best pickup line then?
I don't use pickup line. I just say hello.
Oh,
You taught it? No,
okay.
you told me a really funny pickup line.
Okay,
Can you say it?
I heard the song on the radio. You guys probably know it, but I can't remember the melody. But the guy's like, it's a country tune. He's like, "Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see." It was like, oh, it's so bad that it's good. You're just like, you want to hate it, but you can't.
I don't know if Cody's the biggest. Like, none of us are serious ladies' men, but Cody does have a bit of a superpower of attraction, which is he is an absolute magnet for whoever is the most annoying dude in any bar.
Yeah. Or parties. Like,
Or party.
Seriously, it's weird. The magnetism that
they
I wish
cannot
I didn't
get
have.
enough of him, and we can't figure out what it is.
Yeah, like super bros. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't know. I don't.
I think I've looked into this. I've thought about it. I think it's because they see something in him that they can relate to, but then he's twisted it in a totally other direction, and so in a way it's like they want to be near the guy who figured out how to not just be the most annoying guy in the bar.
Yeah. Well, I went to high school with a lot of people like that, so it was like
And yeah,
a lot of jocks. Like I played sports and shit, and then I was just like, oh, you guys are kind of like weird. I want to play music and hang out with like the weirdos. But
he still
I
speaks
could
that
still,
language.
I could still hang with the jocks if I needed to.
Yeah.
Secretly.
Yeah, that's what it is, and he'll never say no to a free drink. So
That is true.
I think that's a good rule of thumb to have. And speaking of drinks, what's the drunkest you guys have ever been on stage? I'm sure it must have happened at some point in time.
I remember mine. Mine was, you weren't there, Dwight, but it was Halloween in Medicine Hat, Alberta.
That's Schooners?
Was that what it was called?
Was I there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We all dressed up. We all went to Value Village right before and just bought dresses, and we all wore dresses and had like zombie makeup on.
Yeah, well, I think there's 5 of us in the band at the time, and we wanted to like rally everyone together, like let's dress up like chicks. But only 3 of the 5. There's the other 2 guys are like, no, I'm not doing that. Like
Yeah.
one guy destroyed a shirt and made like a penguin outfit, and then our one friend dressed like someone from Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
just like actually kind of dresses like that already. So his costume was weak. I somehow started wearing a Jason mask with a dress.
It looked amazing. He was wearing a dress and a Jason mask, and he had really long hair at the time, so he kind of looked like Casey Jones.
Yeah, Casey Jones
From,
like Miss
Ninja Turtles?
Jones.
Yeah, Mrs. Casey
Mrs.
Jones.
Mrs. Casey
Like
Jones.
Ms. Pac-Man, but like
Yeah, exactly. Just had a little bow
like a
on
bow in
top.
his but yeah, well, we that was such a gong show of a show from the very beginning, because it was Halloween and no one was there to see our music. They were just there to party, and so we felt the same way. We weren't there to. We were barely there to play our music. We just wanted to be as loud as possible. And yeah, I was as drunk as I've ever been on stage.
I think the most drunk on stage for me would be like early days, like playing in bands and thinking like it's cool to be like wasted on stage, and
Yeah.
realizing how fucking hard it is to like
Right.
you lose all your motor skills. You're like, this is a lot of work. Like this
Yeah,
is,
seriously.
I'm not having a good time. So like I
There's
don't
a
know,
reason
early-
Slash pukes behind the amps, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, playing with DJ in like a high school band or something like that. Or actually, when we were, I think it was on that same tour, we were in someplace in Quebec where we played like super late.
Sherbrooke?
Yeah, it was in Sherbrooke, and like we showed up. We were on tour with another band, and then we showed up there, and the promoter was like, "No, there's going to be these 2 local openers that are going to play. So you guys are playing at like midnight or something like that." And I think we decided to rebel against them and get really wasted, which is like, we're like, fuck
They
you, man,
created
we're
that
just gonna get
problem.
shit faced in the van. And then it was just like, this is like really hard. I couldn't put my hi-hat clutch together. I was just like dropping everything. I'm like, oh, I'm a mess. So yeah, that was where like, yeah, we showed him, but like looked like, I think somehow we pulled it off, but like that was also a lot of work. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. To finish it off, if you could pick one musician or singer to switch musical abilities with, who would it be and why?
Probably like Josh Homme, I guess. Big Queens of Stone Age
What's
fan.
his ability that you envy?
Oh, like, well, songwriter and guitar player, like frontman, singer, kind
Nice.
of, or like him or Roy Orbison, but he's no longer with us. So yeah, I'd be like in the ground if I made that wish. But
But our band would get cooler.
Yeah, like
Suddenly we
just
have
like a
Roy
coffin
Orbison
on stage.
No, he'd get to come back from the other side.
Yeah. I
And
wonder
we-
if I would know that I was in his body though.
I don't know.
Or you just be him.
I was just him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right on. Yeah. I'll go with Roy Orbison then.
Okay.
If it's like posthumous or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard, man. I don't know who I'd go with. I've always wanted to be able to. I always wanted to be able to play the drums real good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Because that just takes so much. Like, singing is the kind of thing that you either did when you were young enough to not know that was hard, or you never do it. Where drumming is something that just it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of practice right off the bat. So I'll never get that good at drumming. So maybe I'll switch places with Cody.
I'm
Yeah.
honored.
Yeah, mine's definitely drumming too. Whenever I hear like a song I'm really stoked about, I'll always air drum.
Yeah.
It's like there's something about a beat that I think it's just a bass player thing. We just want to be drummers.
Dude, why don't you switch with Dave Grohl? Because then you could.
That'd be cool.
You could drum almost as good as anyone you've ever known.
And I could be a
write some
frontman.
decent songs and be a frontman.
Yeah, yeah. That's
You'd have it all.
I would have it all.
Money, fast cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would have been in Nirvana.
Yeah, you have all those memories.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You take on. Yeah. So if we're switching bodies, I don't have any great
Oh,
memories. To
yeah, I don't want to. Don't want Cody anymore.
answer.
I don't want Cody anymore.
You guys can both be Dave Grohl.
Yeah. Yeah.
So essentially, we're Queens of the Stone Age because doesn't Dave Grohl play?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are Queens of the Stone Age.
Right now.
Yeah.
I swear I'm
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nailed.
That's the most creative answer I've ever had. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Is there anything you want to say to the fans out there before we go?
You guys are the most important part of this band. So thank you.
That's class, right?
After us.
After us.
Yeah.
Yeah.